Chapter 5 The Insectoids. We the ancients went to a galaxy called Pegasus. The Pegasus Galaxy is the name of a dwarf galaxy in the local group. It actually has two galaxies, the Pegasus Dwarf Irregular Galaxy and the Pegasus Dwarf Spheroidal Galaxy. This galaxy was not yet populated by an intelligent race. We lived in Pegasus for many billions of galactic years. One day Anshar decided that he needed some amusement or comfort. Anshar is Anu's father and Kishar is his mother. Anshar made his request known. He gathered his chief scientists for competition to design a new creature. 3 of his top scientists, one being Mother Huber. The other scientists thought that Anshar was sweet on Mother Huber because she was Anshar's daughter, who won the competition with her creation of the Devonian Rheniagnatha hursti. This is the oldest insect in the galaxy. The Devonian is a fancy name for dragonfly, a 4 to 6 wing insect with a long tail. From this species over 900,000 species were drafted and another 100,000 evolved. Everything was going fine until the insects started multiplying too fast in number. Out of these insects the mosquitoes, killer bees, fleas, bullet ants, and hornets were the disagreeable ones. They are more intelligent than the insects on your planet. Although insects on your planet are more intelligent than you think. The insects begin to take over and became great in number, forcing us to create a race of beings to counteract these beings or to control them, keeping the food chain balanced. The insectoids are creatures which consist of humanoid traits as well as that of insect-like traits. They are most commonly depicted as having bodies which resemble that of earth insects or arthropods. Insectoid bodies generally consist of a hard exoskeleton structure, a central thorax with appendages, and a head like many arthropods. There are 1 million species in the Milky Way galaxy, 900,000 types were regenerated on Earth. There are over 50 million different types in the universe. Earth is home to millions of different species of life, from the large vertebrates which rule the land and sea, to the insects and arthropods who blanket every corner of the planet. Life was once thought to be an anomaly throughout our vast universe, only viable on our small Goldilocks planet, Earth. Sentient alien life is often portrayed as having humanoid traits, such as being upright with a large brain, having legs for locomotion, having arms or hands for dexterous tasks, and having sensory organs in order to react to its environment. Commonly in science these traits are extrapolated in an imaginary sense in order to produce a writer's idea of extraterrestrial life. Insectoids have become a popular form of extraterrestrial life in science. The insect were created by we, the ancient Rizkins in the Pegasus Galaxy about 100 billion years ago. They began migrating to the Andromeda Galaxy around 87 billion years ago. They were brought here by the Rizkins on the first fleet of Atlantis, which was a laboratory. Some believe these extraterrestrials come from the Draco system, working hand in hand with the reptilians. There are some who work with the Draco reptilians. They can get from 1 inch tall to 12 feet tall, and they can weigh as much as 400 pounds. Some of them eat humans. Most insects eat living things. The insect are hive-minded beings. The insect are vast in number and operate off of the orders of a primary queen through a type of phyletic telepathy which utilizes faster than light communication. Most insects live in colonies which develop tunnel networks underground. Each colony of insects is headed by a single queen who controls everything going on within the colony. If the queen dies, the other insects simply stop in their tracks. The hive mind of the insects is what initially lead them to the discovery of the humans as a byproduct of colonization efforts. Many insectoids in the galaxies are labeled as aggressive, hostile species intent on spreading throughout the galaxies. Some insects are not a hostile species and had no intention of wiping out the human race. Unfortunately, that wasn't known until they had been eliminated. Controlled by an overmind, the insect swarm scours the galaxy in order to assimilate and incorporate genetic traits from other advanced species in order to further their evolution. On most insect planet they burrow into the ground and act as a subterranean species. Some insect species are able to withstand the harsh environment of the vacuum of space, such as the mantis. Some insect can live in extreme conditions. They are able to survive radiation 1000 times the lethal dose for human beings, temperatures as low as -330 degrees Fahrenheit or as hot as 300 degrees Fahrenheit. They perform cryptobiosis in order to withstand harsh environmental stresses. Adaptations like this could allow an insect-like extraterrestrial species to withstand interstellar space travel. Swarm intelligence is a behavior between a group of individuals organizing in order to form a more productive collective. Swarms are similar to hive minds in the sense that they allow for a large amount of individuals to act towards a common goal. Hive minds, however, utilize a central intelligence in order to determine the action of the group. Swarms can be characterized by their self-organization in order to benefit the common good of the group, but individuals can still operate under their own decisions. There is a high level of connectivity between the members of a swarm and a hive. Both swarms and hives develop an apparent consciousness with the whole colony acting as a single organism making decisions. Hive minds and swarm intelligence could provide a viable path for extraterrestrial evolution. The ability of a swarm to adapt to a multitude of situations leaves it possible for an alien swarm to arise. Hive minds also allow a species to quickly develop an answer to an obstacle. With an entire species focused on a single goal, leaps and bounds in advancement could be accomplished rather quickly. Insectoids commonly arise as the hostile, hulking beasts of nightmares. Insectoids generally operate off of the powerful hive mindset, accomplishing tasks with unrivaled determination and efficiency. Science shows us the power behind the hive mind and what can be accomplished when a species acts as one. Insectoids are based off of insect-like traits. They are highly adaptive to their environment, and it is not out of the question that an insectoid resembling life form could arise among the stars. Keep your eyes pointed down to Earth and maybe you can learn from our insect species before they come knocking on humanity's door from the cosmos. The Mantis Aliens are perhaps the most mysterious and unsettling of all extraterrestrial creatures. These beings appear within many abduction scenarios, with abductees reporting the ominous presence of these entities looming over their beds as they wake in the dead of night. The Mantis insect race are a super-intelligent insectoid race from the Andromeda constellation. They have a greenish skin tone, long arms and legs. The tips of these arms have 3 pincer-like digits with large talons. They can get from 7 to 10 feet tall. The Mantis alien is very agile and is able to make jumps of great distances to move from place to place, having been shown to be able to jump over 90 feet with ease. The mantis is one of the most powerful insect races. All other insect fear the mantis. Mantis or insectoid-appearing beings have led the abductee experiencer phenomenon from the beginning of our modern-day awareness of it. They appear to be at the higher, if not the highest end of the ET hierarchy, since they are most always described as overseeing or have a supervisory role in the abduction procedure process. This is the case whether it is a medical procedure or human-ET hybrid interaction. This takes place during situations involving baby or child presentations all the way to sexual instruction, interaction, and possible telepathic absorption of emotions and sensations. In many such encounters, there is normally a mantis or insectoid being directing and observing the other beings and people involved. These beings have long, narrow faces, with long, narrow, large eyes, sharply slanted upward and outward in an almost narrow V position, giving an almost insect-like appearance. Their heads are insect-like and triangular, with large, slanted eyes of deep brown to black. Although the mantis tend to communicate with human abductees using telepathic messages, they have been witnessed engaging one another using an auditory language. Several contactees have described the mantis language as a series of clicking sounds exchanged between the creatures. The praying mantis types are extremely thin, long torsos, long, extremely thin arms which are usually crooked into a sharp bend at the midjoint, with the hand and fingers sloping almost vertically downward from the wrist, and legs also bent at an almost right angle at the midjoint, creating a crow-ushed pose. Another well-known case is that of artist and abductee experiencer David Huggins, and his provides an interesting and alternative view into these beings. Returning to the account involving Jim, a mantis being shows a holograph of Earth to the abductee experiencer. Each time he touches the Earth holograph, he sees and is given information about a particular geographic location. Each time this occurs, the effects are different, yet the outcome is the same. He is shown destruction due to the actions of humans. The mantis asks him at different times during the difficult experience, "Now do you understand?" The lesson these beings are apparently trying to communicate, and the HR team believes many have done this quite well, is that humans are causing much more pain and destruction than they know, and humans kill what they do not understand and oftentimes kill what they simply fear. This is a recurring theme for abductee experiencers, and everyone will tell you, these types of encounters are very difficult to endure, therefore, you the reader human, should take heed. We highly recommend that you to read all 3 parts of Jim's interesting accounts involving mantis beings. While the mantis is not as widely reported as the Grey or so-called Nordic alien, it still holds an important role within many extraterrestrial contact scenarios. Insectoids, or mantis-like aliens, are among the many different types of aliens reported by abductees around the world. They are described as tall, with 6 legs, and a peaceful demeanor. Although they speak to each other in clicks, they are able to communicate with other beings via telepathic abilities. By far the most striking aspect of the mantis alien is its physical kinship with the praying mantis, the carnivorous and bipedal insect of its namesake. Insectoids have been seen during abductions working alongside other alien types such as the Greys or reptilians, usually performing various types of medical experiments. The fire beetles are tiny red insectoids from the forest moon of Melmac 1 in Sirius. They are tunnel dwellers, and use bioluminescence, likely to locate one another in the dark passageways. They are often found illuminating tunnels in places such as Fleabug. They can get up to 14 feet tall. They are very aggressive and hate humans and other insect races. The bee people are an insectoid race which inhabits their home world of Betera, a tropical world, living in massive beehive-like cities. The majority of the species has dark green skin, though their queens have pink to purple skin. They are a relatively primitive species, although they were given advanced technology by us the Riskins because they helped us against the other insects. Tholians were a crystalline species. They had a hard carapace that was chiefly mineral. There were 6 thin legs that made it possible for the being to move in any direction quickly. The legs were articulated with joints roughly corresponding to the knee and ankle of humanoid species. Each leg ended in a multi-toed foot. The legs were attached at the base of the torso and were radially symmetric. There were 2 arms, each had joints analogous to the humanoid elbow and wrist, and each arm ended in a multi-fingered hand. There was a slightly visible neck that was covered by a semi-transparent dome membrane that shielded the head. Tholians had 2 glowing spots near the top of their torso. They turned these to face individuals with whom they interacted, which suggested they were some sort of information-gathering organ, or receptacles. Tholians' biology required high temperatures around 480 Kelvin, 207 degrees Celsius, 404 degrees Fahrenheit. They could tolerate lower temperatures for a brief period of time. If they were exposed to temperatures around 380 Kelvin or less, their carapace would fracture. This was painful or distressing. A Tholian subjected to such a temperature regime could be coerced to cooperate. In temperatures even lower, a Tholian would freeze solid and shatter. The government of the Tholians was known as the Tholian Assembly. Until the mid-22nd century, the Vulcan High Command had only limited contact with the Assembly. And, future tense, during several confrontations between the Tholian Assembly and the United Federation of Planets, Starfleet officers perceived the behavior of their Tholian counterparts as aggressive and territorial. TOS, the Tholian Web, the Tholian Government was known to kill outsiders caught entering Tholian space without their consent. The Assembly was also known to annex systems outside Tholian space, to further isolate their territory. The cockroaches, Orthopterus exomorphs, or bugs as they are commonly referred to by MJ-12 personnel, are a belligerent race of insect-like aliens native to Hive world. These beings are evil and malevolent beings who are very dangerous. The government with the help of other bad aliens sell human meat and skin to these beings. They make shoes and clothes out of human skin and eat the meat. These beings come from the Andromeda constellation. All bugs share a kinship with insects native to Earth. If you want to know about life in the galaxy, then take a close look at your planet. Your planet is special because it is a DNA bank for all the aliens in your galaxy. The bugs also appear to have a special connection to these insects, as they can feel pain whenever any insect within their range is killed. The cockroaches can get up to 18 feet tall and can weigh as much as 1,500 pounds. Accounting for their body structure and large size is also a set of impressive superhuman abilities, including crawling up walls, and heightened strength and leaping. As a defense mechanism, bugs are capable of manipulating an adhesive, green phlegm-like substance from somewhere within their digestive tract, allowing them to rapidly seize objects or subdue enemies by entrapping them in it. Bugs also have an uncanny ability of compressing the majority of the density of their body mass, allowing them to fit inside spaces remarkably more compact than what their default size could allow. Alongside this, bugs are also incredibly resilient to physical damage, being able to survive total separation from the entire lower half of their body, so long as their head remains intact. As such, these two attributes allow bugs to survive any variety of cataclysm or altercation, resulting in them being extremely hard to kill. However, despite being nearly invincible, a bug's two fatal weaknesses are its relatively limited line of thought and its connection to Earth's smaller insects. It appears that bugs do in fact share form of evolutionary connection with earthly cockroaches, as the earth roaches seem to be heavily attracted to bugs, usually flocking towards their alien relatives in hordes. In the event that a cockroach is killed within the presence of a bug, the extraterrestrial insect will experience a painful somatic response, and while this sensation is largely incapable of neutralizing the creature, it is strong enough, however, to dangerously rile a bug's volatile temper. Due to their exceptionally vicious nature, bugs are notorious for being one of the most feared alien races throughout the galaxy. The bug queen, also referred to as Queenie by her children, is the mother and ruling monarch of the entire alien bug race. The bug craves sugar, methane gas, water, carbon dioxide, and bacteria. Hive world was the home planet of the bugs, a race of aliens that resemble cockroaches. The Zebulians are a race of insect that resemble flies. The Zebulians are flies from the Pegasus Galaxy. They migrated to the Andromeda Galaxy, then migrated to Beetlejuice, which has 8 planets. They lived on a planet called Zebul and the breath methane gas. It is 642.5 light-years away in the constellation of Orion. Beelzebul fought with his father Baal, the friend of the great dragon Tarnush, against Michael and his angels. Beelzebul the first, son of Baal, is the leader who got cast to the 4th dimension. The Nigamak aka Nomapo are a race of insect from the planet Nigaman in the constellation of Perseus. They do not like to interact with other alien races. Considered by other aliens as one of the parasite races. They can get up to 10 feet tall and can weigh as much as 1,100 pounds. The most ancient race known and the most feared by our governments. They are extremely aggressive. They abduct humans and exercise control over the minds. They programmed sleeper agents of their captives, which they use for their own benefit after the captive's release. Suspected to have been involved in several airplane crashes, such as Flight 007 over the USSR in 1983. The USSR leadership took the blame for that crash. The Seal Knights are the sapient insectoid inhabitants of the Earth's moon. Seal Knights physically resemble quasi-humanoid ants, about 5 feet tall, 1.5–2 meters, with a light physical constitution enclosed in an exoskeleton from which slender jointed limbs and whip-like tentacles protrude. The large head contains a couple of widely separated insectal eyes, a downward beak-like mouth, and no visible nose or ears. Their necks are also jointed, and they have ridges of spikes running down the back of their heads and over their eyes. Due to the lower gravity of the moon, The seal knight body is very weak and flimsy, and can be easily destroyed by human strength. They are omnivorous, their diet include mooncalves and fungi. Their eyes are sensitive to sunlight, but are able to perceive heat. Like many insectoids, the seal knights are divided in multiple castes which differ widely both in appearance and social functions. There are male and female seal knights, in addition to dozens, perhaps hundreds, of different sexless forms which act as soldiers, artists, or laborers of many specialties.